Welcome to the first pilot episode of Mastery Moments, brought to you by the LogMeIn Solutions Consulting team. In this episode, we will give you 4 tips to perform a consultative discovery for the LastPass product. Hello, I'm Mark Schroyer, Senior Director in the Solutions Consulting team for the EMEA region at LogMeIn. Before we get started today discussing how to perform a LastPass discovery conversation, let me introduce you to the Mastery Moments concept. Mastery Moments are designed for LogMeIn channel partners. They are intended to provide weekly tips on how to sell, configure, and operationalize the various LogMeIn products, from LastPass to GoToConnect to Rescue. Each episode will be from 2 to 6 minutes, focusing on one of 3 insight types. These include sales, product, and operational insight additions. The team producing the Mastery Moments series is the EMEA Channel Solutions Consulting team. This includes Rodrigo Furtado, Jay Mani, and myself. It is likely that you have already received some product training from them, or perhaps they've helped you with some technical sales support. With that introduction complete, let's talk about how to perform a proper discovery for LastPass. Let's first talk about the target personas for LastPass. Normally, this is clearly the IT buyer. They have responsibility for the IT security and operations in the organization. The most common titles are the CIO, the Chief Information Officer, the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer, and perhaps a Vice President of IT or lower levels of management responsible for either areas of IT or IT security. While the purchasing organization is involved in a LastPass sales cycle, the IT security related personas are normally the key decision makers in the sales process. The quickest way to find a tangible need for LastPass is to focus in the areas of the technical IT environment, regulatory compliancy, security risk mitigation, and improving operational efficiency and employee productivity in general. Let's take a look at each of these 4 areas. When doing a LastPass discovery, we want to ultimately ask problem and implication questions to find what problems are worth fixing. Let's begin with some situational questions about the technical IT environment to get things started. A question to get the conversation flowing might include a query about how identity is implemented in the prospect's organization. For example, is it done with Microsoft Active Directory, Microsoft Azure, or Okta? A follow-on question might be to ask about how many SaaS applications are linked to this identity infrastructure with a single sign-in or SSO integration. For example, is Salesforce linked to SSO? This might then lead to a question about shadow IT applications. How many applications are integrated with your SSO environment? How many are not? For example, at LogMeIn, we have many employees that expense subscriptions to various, what I would call occasional use applications. This includes examples such as SurveyMonkey, Slido, Kahoot, BrowserStack, and many others. And then also, how about multi-factor authentication, or MFA? How is that implemented? And is it both operationally and securely effective? And of course, we need to ask if the company uses a password manager. If yes, is it designed for individuals or organizations? Which freemium or personal password manager are used by end users? Do you, as the IT department, get endpoint device requests to install these applications on users' PCs? The last thing about the IT infrastructure we should be asking is related to the mobile devices and the systems to support them. Here are 2 good questions. Do they have company-managed mobile devices? If so, which type? Typically, that's going to be either iOS or Android. And what systems do they use for managing and deploying these systems and applications? Do they allow user-owned devices to access corporate services? In other words, bring your own device. If so, how do they maintain security oversight of these devices? This first set of questions will help you get a clear lay of the land from an IT infrastructure perspective. With all of this information, We may then want to change the subject and ask about some regulatory compliance questions. For example, are there any specific auditing requirements related to the organization or the industry, or your customer's industry? How do you prove such compliancy? Has this been or will it become necessary in the future? Another one, how often are audits performed? What happens if your organization is rated as non-compliant? Has this ever happened to you before, and what was the outcome? This may lead to some very pointed questions on the reduction or mitigation of IT security risk. What would happen if a social breach occurred in your or your customer's organization? Has your company ever suffered from an IT security breach in the past? Are you performing checks to see if credentials are showing up on the dark web? Are there any board-level reporting requirements related to proving risk mitigation for social breaches? And finally, we may want to ask some opening questions about the improvement of operational efficiency and employee productivity. For example, what is your volume of password resets every month? Is this for SSO-enabled applications or other SaaS applications not covered by SSO? Are you sharing credentials across your organization or with other third parties? How are these shared credentials being protected? Are these shared credentials for customer assets? This is a pretty comprehensive list of questions and pain points for any potential prospect of LastPass. If you focus your consultative discovery in the areas of, first, the technical IT environment, second, regulatory compliance, third, security risk and mitigation, and finally, on improving operational efficiency and employee productivity, you're sure to stumble on some issues where LastPass can immediately help. In the notes below, we have documented all of these opening questions and many more in a PDF document that can be found in the LogMeIn Partner Exchange portal for your next call with a LastPass prospect. We hope that you found this Mastery Moment episode useful. If you did, please click the like button and consider subscribing. If you also click on the bell icon, you will be notified so that you do not miss any future Mastery Moment episodes. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to having you on the next episode. This is Mark Troyer signing off.